Welcome to Leading Boldly Briefs, where we bring you a powerful insight from a longer conversation. Perfect if you're short on time. So we are going to dive straight in.
Me talking about this now, I think I may have mentioned it to Steve, that if I'd have said to my skipper when I first joined in 1997 that I'm going to go and do a talk about mental health and suicide awareness, he'd have looked a bit squiffy-eyed at me and, what are you doing? What do you mean? What are you on about? Grow some, man up, get on with the job, you know? It was a different time. And,
yeah.
I don't criticize him for that. I honestly don't. But in that sense, I think policing has come a long way. It has got a way to go, Matt. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, as we know. But I think that's one of the most significant changes.
And you've mentioned Steve a few times, just for the listeners. Steve is the founder of charity Tough to Talk, which is it's our chosen charity as a business, and they are about preventing male suicide. What made you want to align with Tough to Talk specifically within the police service?
It was that approach, that pretty that clarity around. There's no frills here. This is a subject. This is a topic we have to talk about. And we need to talk about, and the approach to men specifically, because as chair of our men's forum, and again, my wife will roll her eyes at some of this stuff because she'll say, "You're the worst one. How can you sit there?" But we talk all the time about that male way, that piece that's within us. It's difficult to describe, that stops us talking about things sometimes, stops us going to the doctors, stops us talking to our best friend about something. And I just loved what I saw from Steve's approach, that whole man up, the positive take on man up. We use man down as a drill in public order training. If an officer is down, I don't want to be confused about trying to be kind to everyone and using the right terminology. And this is about speed. Mm-hmm. Someone is injured. I need to get them off the floor and get them to safety. So it's officer down, man down. I don't care, but it's that whole sense of man up in a positive way. Someone struggling. Let's get them up. Let's bring them up together. And I think it very much aligned with us, with our ethos. It kind of talked to that frustration that I've had and that the other guys have had in trying to reach men, So, I just love that no frills about it. And again, that's a positive for me. That's a real... get to the point. We understand what the issue is. Let's get to the point, and let's save as many men as we possibly can. And I kind of said to my boss when we were talking about the men's forum in Thames Valley that we lost 6 men in 3 or 4 years to suicide, death on duty, killed on duty. And I said, we can either keep putting on the white gloves and the nice tunic and go to these funerals, or we can do something about it. And that's why I think that was my turning point for being comfortable in talking about something that I'm no expert in, Jenny. I'm not, don't profess to be an expert in this, but if it means that one of my peers, one of my mates, one of my colleagues comes out of the wood and says something and broaches a subject and doesn't therefore go on to do something else to harm himself, then fabulous. I'm
Absolutely.
up for that.
Yeah. Did you step up for the men's forum, or were you approached to do it?
So, typical blokes way, the men's forum in Thames Valley was originally chaired by one of our brilliant women.
Yeah.
Because none of the blokes, quite a few of the blokes were, we want this, we need this. None of them willing to put the work in. and then Kelly Reid, she's called, brilliant officer and colleague. And then we had breakfast one day, and she said, Codders, I think you're the person that needs to take this on, and it's not really working. And it wasn't working. She was doing the notes, she was taking the actions, it was just crazy. So we had breakfast, and she knows I'm easy, because if you buy me breakfast, that's it, I'm sold. You don't get to be 6'8", 19.5 stone without putting the effort in. And I said, so I came away and wrote up a bit of a plan, and we had 600 men in our Teams group on our email distribution. So sounds like a healthy number. Thames Valley Police is about 9,500 staff and officers, half of which is men. So for me, that's not a big number, but I literally said to them, you've got 6 months. I need 11 of you to come on a committee with me. If within 6 months we haven't got 12 men on a committee doing everything, thread to needle, then I'm stepping away. You can do what you want, but I'm stepping away. There's 13 of us now on the committee. We've got some non-exec assistants as well that help, and then slowly some other guys coming out of the woodwork to support as well. So that's what the last 3 years I've been involved, and yeah,
and I think
we have a
people like Steve do help that, because he is such a masculine man, and he comes on and he tells his story, and he hasn't been on the podcast yet, actually. He is on the list, he will be on, but he tells his story, and I think men can really connect with it. So they think, well, if they can do it, and if someone like you can do it, then I can get involved as well. It's like giving them permission.
And it absolutely is, and it's moving us away from thinking that things like this, things like going to events with our banners behind us, with our tablecloth, with our stash on, is soft, is not manly, is not masculine, is not strong, is not. It absolutely is. I've become super comfortable with the fact that I'm a better man now, having done this, than I was before. I'm a better husband to Nats. I'm a better dad to my kids. Every day of the week, I'm so happy with the fact that me doing this stuff has improved me as a man. So, but there are still those barriers out there, Jenny. You're right, where people will say those are the soft things. Those are that's weakness. It's not manly, it's not masculine, and it's where people like Steve are absolutely crucial. I've got some brilliant allies within Thames Valley Police, guys who are in our armed response teams, guys who are inspectors on our frontline shifts, and they are absolutely the guys we need, because they are genuine and credible, and people look at them and go, well, if he's saying that, then you're absolutely right. That's almost that permission that us blokes, and we do look for it.
Absolutely, we absolutely do. There was a particularly harrowing incident, wasn't there, that brought all this to your sort of doorstep in a way that you couldn't ignore, right back at the beginning. Would you mind sharing that with our audience?
No. So I was force incident manager in the control room. So that's quite a unique role for a police force, in that it's one person who sits there as the kind of the owner, if you like. So anything serious, significant, major, critical, all those big, what we would say would be tasty jobs, those big incidents, they come through that force incident manager. So the force incident manager has access to all the assets across the police force. And in Thames Valley, that's the 3 counties. So that's an enormous footprint that we control. Being in charge there one day, what was it, 2000 18, I think. And like I said, I'm no expert in suicide. I've been to a number of jobs, but this one job came to my attention from one of my call takers, one of my control room staff. And it was a family who were concerned about their son, 15-year-old boy. So a concern for welfare, and having access to all those assets. It's very easy for me to get hold of those assets and tell them to get to somewhere quick. And that's just, you know, Matt, that's that bit where you talk about the importance of understanding what the job is on the ground. That's where the tone of my voice and the speed with which I deliver something tells my officers, when I say fast, I mean now. I mean, be there. Like, I can't tell you. There's a difference. You put the blue lights on in the car, you drive fast. We have that exemption to exceed the speed limit. You change your tone, you change that inflex, and they hear it, they understand. It's slightly quicker, isn't it, on this one? Yes, it is. It's very much quicker. So that was one of those jobs. And the guys got there. and we didn't get there in time. So that was, you know, you get to that position, and I can tell you, when you put the uniform on, it feels different. The Stewart Codling that's at home with his family, it sounds silly, but you almost do. You become slightly different. You become a different person. My confidence goes up. The senses become sharper. And sometimes that feeling of invincibility as well comes with you, because as a force incident manager, and having done it I did it for about 5 years, there's nothing you can't fix. There's no problem that comes to your desk that doesn't get solved. That's the job. And we didn't get there in time. And that was, it wasn't right at the point when it happened, when they told me. It was driving home. And that was that whole sense of failure, that whole sense of letting him down, letting that boy down. And I think it's only subsequent. I get upset. I don't think of myself now as a failure. I don't think that I failed that day. I tried. I promise you I tried. I don't know his name. I don't know his family. I didn't go through the door. This is why it's so silly, but hopefully this is important for people to see, that it matters, that it really does matter on a deep level. But I didn't fail. I tried my best. I try again tomorrow. I try again this afternoon. But yeah, that was one of those moments that, for some strange reason, even though I've been to suicides before, I've been sat in cabs with train drivers, been at home trying to stop family getting to their loved one because I don't want them to see what I've just seen. Yeah, that one really caught me. And I think that then, take it on a few years with the stuff with the officers, with that conversation with Kelly, and then so on, the conversation with Steve, that's what makes sense of it. That's what means that I'm not frightened to talk about it. I'm not getting emotional. That's not me being weak. That you might say that's me being vulnerable. I'm happy with that. I don't mind that. I'll go to the door again tomorrow, and I'll try again tomorrow. That's the strength. The strength is that actually we'll come back for more, because that's the job, Matt. You know, that's what I signed up to. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know all of this at the time, but that's the job. So, yeah, no, just the courage and the strength to share that story with us, despite its emotion for you. That's strength. That's leadership. That's the strength and leadership that we as men need.
now to understand that, you know, it's not so much about being vulnerable, but it's about being able to share our stories in a way where we can lead as men.
Human.
And Jenny, do you know, it's, I read so much, I hear so much about policing, and like I said to you, I love what I do. I'm passionate about policing, but we are humans. You know, and I've heard people criticize some of my peers for going through doors and then crying with families, and I promise you, it's so difficult. Sometimes that you try and put on that professional image, and that professional image at times is absolutely the one where the face is stoic and it's resilient and it's strong and it's, I'm going to do this. But if it means that 5 minutes later I'm round the corner, I'm just going to have a moment and a tear, and because I'm going to join you in your sorrow, in your sadness. I don't know you. That's irrelevant. That's really irrelevant. It's the fact that we are human. And I think that's that bit about that priceless bond between us. We're not robots. We're not just machines, and we mustn't just become that process of, you know, well, we need the police, turn up, do this, go away. I'm going to live it and breathe it with you, because I think that's what makes us stand out from, not stand out from others, because it's not a competition with others, but that's what makes us, I think, so special.